I feel so guilty. I didn't study English for 2 hours every day this week. That's what I used to say all the time. But notice, guilty is way too heavy for missing study time. Jake, you had a reaction, right? Guilty. That sounds like you committed a crime. It's just a study session. We need a lighter word. So let's start here. Instead of guilty, say, I felt bad about not studying more. It's natural, understated, perfect for casual chat. That does feel lighter. Good. Now, for a more polite setting, say, I was a bit disappointed in myself for not keeping up. Softer, self-reflective. That sounds more mature. And for work, try, I was being too hard on myself for not sticking.
Okay, I tried, but I used a boring grammar app. I gave up after 2 days. Because the first answer was too vague, the next step is structure. Understand that starting with enjoyable material matters. Start with, I felt bad about not studying more. It works here because the word guilty is too strong and dramatic for a minor lapse. In casual conversation, we'd say bad or a bit guilty or rephrase to I was hard on myself. Notice that the phrase answers the exact situation instead of offering generic confidence advice.
You said felt guilty earlier. That's very strong. In casual talk, we'd say felt bad or was hard on myself. Now compare 3 useful levels for the same answer. I felt bad about not studying more. I was a bit disappointed in myself for not keeping up. I was being too hard on myself for not sticking to a longer routine. The lesson is not to memorize 3 random lines. It is to choose how much specificity, humility, and professional impact this exact conversation needs. Is the simplest version. Balances ambition with humility.
I felt bad about not studying more. That sounds much lighter. The pressure test is whether the line still sounds real when someone asks for evidence. Then connect it to the concrete example in this scene. Jake introduces the simple phrase. That combination turns a polished phrase into a believable answer rather than a script. Keep the example tied to this scene. Jake introduces the simple phrase, and then give one piece of evidence. A short, concrete example is more persuasive than another abstract promise. When you want the sentence to sound natural and low pressure.
After simple, Anna learns the polite version. For a teacher or colleague, say, I was a bit disappointed in myself for not keeping up. Softer and polite. The content now fits the topic, so listen to delivery. Listen for the weak form of to in used to study. It sounds like to, not to. Practice. I was a bit disappointed in myself for not keeping up. Once with a calm pace, then say, I was being too hard on myself for not sticking to a longer routine. With stress on the result words, the tone should sound thoughtful and prepared, not memorized or overconfident.
I was being too hard on myself. That sounds mature and self-aware. Here is the payoff. Do not return to, I felt very guilty because I didn't. Use, I was being too hard on myself for not sticking to a longer routine. When the stakes are high, or I was a bit disappointed in myself for not keeping up. For a warmer version. The reusable idea is to connect your role, the impact you want to create, and the growth that gets you there. That is a complete answer the listener can trust.